All right, folks, let me make an adjustment here. Welcome to the C Files. Thanks for joining us, all 25 or 30 of you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, help out the channel. I know you get a lot of information from a lot of different channels, but how many of them do you get a biblical view on what's being talked about? I spend about an hour a day in this book, the Word of God. God's divine revelation to mankind, Genesis through Revelation. I spend at least an hour every day in that book. Devotion and prayer time. I'm not talking about a 5-minute devotion. This is my view. This cleanses my mind and my soul on a daily basis, so that my thinking is clear and not all messed up with worldly ideas and thoughts and secularism and Satanism and all that kind of crap. You got to keep your mind, renew your mind daily with the scriptures if you're a Christian. Now, let's get right into it here. Cheers. So nothing like a morning cup of coffee. Let's run through it real quick, and I'll have a short comment on each one of these appointments, and then we're going to get into some other news. We know that the Department of Education is gone. That's a good thing. Education needs to be completely revamped in this country. It's a total disaster, total failure, because it's been secularized, number one. And number two, it's been it's fallen into the cult of wokeism, and that has done a lot to destroy education. The myth of Darwinian evolution, we're talking 19th century science, is still being taught in our schools as if it were 21st century science. You read the 21st century scientists, Dembski, Intelligent Design, the theory of irreducible complexity by Michael Behe, and his book, Darwin's Black Box, will help bring you into 21st century science, not 19th century Darwinian evolutionary science, which, by the way, was the foundation of communism, because that's how Marx got his ideas. By reading Darwin, The Descent of Man. When you read in these authors that talk about the fine-tuning of the universe, they talk about the molecular machines inside of a human cell and the complexity of the human cell and how all of it works. Design, it screams design. Even the most prominent 20th century atheist, Anthony Flew, came to the point where he could not deny design in nature any longer. And he wrote a book. I have the book, said there is a God. Of course, his fellow atheists said, oh, he's senile. When it doesn't go your way, you don't like it, do you? There's going to be a lot of crow eating going on, because we're going to run through this. Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, he hates communism, folks. You say, oh, he's just a rhino, he's just deep state. No, he hates communism. And he's going to do what Trump wants. You got to understand, a lot of these politicians are chameleons. And whoever's in power, that's who they're going to play with. Well, guess who's out of power now? The deep state. Guess who's out of power now? The globalist oligarchs. They're rats running from the cage. They're eating crow. They're scattering. They're in confusion. they're trying to come up with a response, a game plan to respond back, and they're in disarray. So, yeah, I don't think Rubio's going to attach his wagon to that. Tom Homan, border czar, has already said to the drug cartels, we're going to wipe you off the face of the earth. And of course, that's the human trafficking cartels as well. And mass deportations are coming, not of citizens. If you're here with a green card, if you're here and you became a citizen as an immigrant, you're okay. The lies that they're spreading out there, the crap that they're trying to tell people. Oh, if you have brown skin, you need to be scared. My wife is from the Philippines. She's an immigrant to this country. She had her green card for many years. Now she's a U.S. citizen. You think I'm scared that she's going to be deported back to the Philippines? I have a brain, and at least two of those brain cells are actually functioning. I'm smart enough to understand. No, that's not what's happening. Okay. If you're here illegally, you crossed the border, you did not come across the legal way, you were not vetted, you just decided, I'm just going to break into the country, yeah, you're the ones that are going to be deported. I want to hear all the crybabies saying, oh, they're going to be separating families and all that. Look, enough of that. Nobody's listening to you anymore. We're done. Okay? You understand? We're done. I'm going to talk about MAGA and the Tea Party in a moment. You guys remind me, please. Remind me to do that. Robert Kennedy Jr. Of course, he's going to be working on food and pharmaceuticals with a task force. Of course, Vivek is going to be helping out with some things as well. And our food's going to get cleaned up. Bye-bye high fructose corn syrup, which has, by the way, is the biggest cause of heart disease. They tell you it's cholesterol. The gaslighting, man, I tell you what. It's the sugar that you got to be concerned about, and specifically the sugar that's created in a lab and put into our foods. There's more, but we'll talk about that later. Mike Waltz, National Security Director. He's a congressman. He's the first Green Beret to serve in Congress. And he's going to take, well, being a Green Beret and a man of God, he's going to take names and kick butts, okay? We'll just put it that way. A lot of you guys in Washington, D.C., you might as well just put your resignations in, pack your bags, start looking for other work, because it's about to go down. Lee Zeldin, head of the EPA. Lee Zeldin is a good pick for that. He will come in and he will start cutting all that regulation. Guess what, EPA? You're not going after Amish farmers and their raw milk anymore. You tyrants. We'll leave it there. San Diego, not San Diego. I had SD written down. I thought San Diego. South Dakota Kristi Noem, Homeland Security Secretary. She's a true patriot. She's the one governor that didn't put up with the mandates during COVID. What? Mandates? What mandates? We ain't doing that. What are you guys talking about? We'll see how she does. I think she'll do well. Now remember, these have to be approved. Some of these appointments have to be approved by the Senate. So we'll see how that goes. Now I'm going to make a correction after this one. Pete Hegseth, Defense Secretary. Another military veteran. I think he was a major in the Army, lieutenant colonel or major, I can't remember which. He was also Special Forces. I think he was Spec Ops, if I remember. He's a good choice. He's also, if I remember him, he's a Christian of the Reformed faith and a man of God. So this should be interesting. I think he's the one that came out strong against wokeism, the critical race theory being and intersectionality being taught in the military. He's going to clean that garbage out. And he also said that if he ever got into a position where he could do it, he would fire a lot of those generals. And generals that push this wokeism in our military, I have a suggestion. You might want to put in your resignation before Pete gets in and fires your rear. And you might want to lawyer up because you might just come under, who knows, UCMJ might apply and you might go into court martial. So we'll see. John Ratcliffe, UCMJ, by the way, is the Uniform Code of Military Justice. I was both Navy and Army. I'm a veteran of both branches, more Navy than Army, but anyway. John Ratcliffe, director of CIA. I had previously stated, I got this one wrong. I previously stated that it was Akash Patel. He still might end up in the administration. Some are saying FBI director. We'll see. I'm not going to put that out yet because I just did, but I don't want to. I'm just saying that's the rumor. Okay. Now, John Ratcliffe, director of CIA. He's a good one. Let me see if I have anything on him that I can. I know that he has a background in that. He was involved in intelligence and so forth. He's going to clean a lot of that up. He's the former director of national intelligence. He's an American politician and attorney who served as director of national intelligence from 2020 to 2021 during COVID. And so there's what I'm getting on him is that he's going to come in and all the shenanigans, the spying on Americans, all this nonsense that the CIA has been doing, it's done. He's going to clean that mess up. According to what he's saying, he's going to clean that mess up. Matt Gaetz, Attorney General. The DOJ has been weaponized against the American people. It's been weaponized against Trump. It's been weaponized against Trump supporters. It's been weaponized against peaceful protesters, J6ers. It's been weaponized against Christians in general, for praying in front of abortion clinics, quietly and silently standing there praying, not bothering anybody, not blocking any entrances, nothing, just praying in front of abortion clinics. The UK has a big problem with that. United Kingdom politicians, you folks running the UK, God's going to bring fire and brimstone down on top of your head if you don't reverse course. Just saying. Now, Matt Gaetz, if you've watched him in Congress, he's a bulldog. He don't take any crap. And as Attorney General, all this weaponization of DOJ, all you folks in the DOJ, the FBI, the federal agencies, law enforcement agencies that have you have your oath of office, right? You have violated your oath of office to abide by the Constitution. You might want to lawyer up because fire and brimstone is about to come down on top of you. And a lot of you just might want to get the idea in your head that you're going to have to get comfortable in a jail cell because the hunters have become the hunted. So that's where we are, folks. Now, let me go over here. Here's some more. President Trump announced his White House senior staff. That's very small writing. I'm going to try to read it. Mar-a-Lago, Florida. Today, President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, announced 4 top advisors. Let me bring this over here where I can actually read it. 4 top advisors from his historic presidential campaign will serve in the White House as senior staff. Dan Scavino will return to the White House as an assistant to the President and Deputy Chief of Staff. Scavino was a Trump campaign senior advisor and remains one of President Trump's longest-serving and most trusted aides. Stephen Miller will return to the White House as assistant to the President and Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy and Homeland Security Advisor. Miller was a Trump campaign senior advisor and previously served in the Trump White House as senior advisor to the President for Policy. James Blair will serve as assistant to the President and Deputy Chief of Staff for Legislative, Political, and Public Affairs. Blair was the Trump campaign and Republican National Committee political director, managing hundreds of staff and overseeing a wide portfolio of political operations and programs. Taylor Budowich will serve as assistant to the President and Deputy Chief of Staff for Communications and Personnel. Prior to joining the Trump campaign, Budowich served in a senior role in President Trump's leadership PAC, Save America, and as CEO of the pro-Trump super PAC MAGA Incorporated. So Dan, Stephen, James, and Taylor were best-in-class advisors on my winning campaign, and I know they will honorably serve the American people in the White House, said President Trump. They will continue to work hard to make America great again in their respective new roles. So that's an announcement on the senior staff from President Trump. If you believe in national borders, if you believe in keeping the country safe, if you believe in your daughters being able to go off to school and not to be attacked by some illegal migrant, I like to say illegal alien, whatever. I mean, by someone who's here illegally, which has been happening. If you believe in a good economy, if you believe in cleaning up the the corruption out of our government, excuse me, etc., etc. You're gonna love this team, this A team that Trump has put together. By the way, I said God. God's providence. God's providence. First round, the first 4 years of Trump, the deep state had a stranglehold on his administration. Then the deep state took over. The globalist oligarchs took over, and the country started waking up because they began to see, holy moly, what are these people doing to us, right? Not just the economy, but the tyranny too. And then they lose. They didn't expect to lose. They expected to not only weaponize the Department of Justice against us, but also weaponize the military against us. That's what all the wokeism was about, folks. They lost. Now they're eating crow. Now they're scattering like rats. Now they're concerned because of this A-Team. Remember the A-Team in the show, The A-Team, with George Picard and Mr. T and all that? The A-Team's coming in. By the way, the adults are coming in. And they're going to start running the country. And all the rambunctious, rebellious children, daddy's home and you're in big trouble. Yeah. go to your room and wait for justice. All right, now, so we have that. Now let me get over here, and here's an announcement on Infowars. This is not good, folks. Alex Jones has been attacked heavily by the deep state. He's been the grandfather of MAGA. And I said I would talk about MAGA and the Tea Party. Thanks for reminding me, by the way. That yeah, and the red shirt. Yeah, appreciate that. Anyway, so MAGA was formerly the Tea Party. Did you know that? Those who say, "Oh, get rid of Trump, you get rid of MAGA," oh, please go ahead and try that. Oh, please try that and see how wrong you are. Get rid of Sarah Palin and we'll get rid of the Tea Party. And they thought, oh, we won. The Tea Party's gone away. It's been disbanded. There's no more. It's been running under the radar. And when it emerged back up into public light, MAGA. That's how it works. You can never get rid of the yearning for liberty. You can never get rid of people who are going to fight for their families. You can never get rid of people who are going to come after you if you mess with their family. Because some of you don't have two brain cells that work in your head. You think if you can get rid of Trump, you can get rid of MAGA. No, you're just going to open up the floodgates. And MAGA will just keep getting stronger and stronger. You see, MAGA isn't just a slogan. It's something that's been yearning in this country since we defeated the British in the Revolutionary War. And then they came back in 1812, tried it again. And then they came in with the Federal Reserve and income tax. 1913, income tax, Federal Reserve, late 1800s. I can't remember the exact date. And they said, well, we'll get them, we'll change our method of warfare. We'll get them that way. We'll bring them under the British Crown. But you can't stop the revolution. The revolution's been going on for, 240 years now? It's not going to stop. You'd have to change human nature for it to stop. And human nature ain't going anywhere. Well, let me get back to Alex Jones. Breaking out of Zero Hedge, The Onion purchases Infowars at auction, plans to turn it into a satirical version of the iconic brand. So they bought Infowars, and now they want to mock Trump. I mean, not Trump, mock Alex Jones. My prediction is that satirical version of the iconic brand will fail. Oh, the woke people, the liberal women who shave their heads, the beta males, they'll probably watch it. But the rest of the country, nah. So, breaking, Democrats are on their way to the building to shut Infowars down. This is put out by Alex Jones. To shut Infowars down now. Alex Jones explains the future of Infowars in this critical emergency broadcast. I want to be careful. I hope there's no language in here. If there's language, I'm shutting it down. Here we go.
Said they wanted to buy Infowars and keep me on the air and keep that equipment and and let us keep fighting for Trump and America and the Great Awakening and make sure he gets actually into office on the 20th of January and make sure the good agenda of liberty continues on and all the rest of it. And so we follow the rules to a T. I never knew what the other groups were going to bid. You're not supposed to know that. They wouldn't tell me anything. So I don't know what that group, Roger Stone, did. I don't know if they put a bid in. I think they did because they said there were quite a few bids. I was working with another group I'd known forever that had been a great sponsor over the years. They didn't tell me the bids because the owner's a lawyer.
Okay, he's going to ramble.
And bankruptcy lawyer at that. or one of the owners. And so followed absolutely like a Boy Scout to the T. And I called them
Okay, it's going to take
yesterday,
too long.
and I said, the fix is in. No matter.
He tends to ramble, folks. I'm not going to go through all that. Let me just read this. Jones was streaming from the studio after the purchase was announced. He wrote in a post on X with a live feed that Democrats are on their way to the building to shut InfoWars down now. Also explains the future of InfoWars. Okay, and that just repeats itself. So, yeah, there's going to be a future. It wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't end up on some platform like Red Pill or what's it, Badlands, something like that. There are other platforms out there that would love to have Alex Jones come in and do a show. So he's not going anywhere, folks. He will return because MAGA supports him, right? Oh, he's just a conspiracy theorist. He's just a conspiracy theorist. Yeah, okay, go live in your fantasy world. Look, he's been the most accurate predictor of what's happening in our country, in our world, of anybody I know. I got a book that I've been reading. I don't know where I put it, somewhere around here. The Committee of 300. I'm reading that book. It was written years ago by Dr. John Coleman. And reading that book, the predictions in that book when it comes to the globalist oligarchs was like reading history now. Everything that we've experienced over the last 12 years, he was predicting 20 years ago. Dr. John Coleman got it right. Same thing with Alex Jones. So I think one person said, I don't call it conspiracy theorists, I call it conspiracy investigators. Because there are conspiracies, folks, right? The conspiracy to raid Mar-a-Lago on Trump, when going after him for something that there was no issue there with the documents case. I mean, Jack Smith and all of his stuff, those are all conspiracies to go after Trump. Well, guess what? They're eating crow now. So God has a way of reversing things, and it makes people's heads swim. And this was done in such a way that there's no question that God did it. So Deep State, stranglehold, first 4 years of Trump, then Deep State took over, and now Trump's coming in, and Deep State, no more stranglehold. Trump's coming in with his people. They know what they're doing, and they're loaded for bear. So stand by. It's going to be an interesting 4 years, because the people who thought they were going to destroy us, destroy our families, put us in 15-minute cities, have us eat bugs, own nothing, and be happy. And that didn't happen, and that ain't going to happen now. The adults are back in town. And Dad is taking off the belt. And the spankings are coming. And you'll either get in line, you'll do things the right way, you will abide by the Constitution, and dump all of this globalist corporate garbage, or fire and brimstone. Haman thought he was going to hang Mordecai on the gallows, but guess who hung on the gallows that he made for Mordecai? Haman. The wise men, so-called, the heads of state under Darius in the Persian Empire, thought that they were going to get rid of Daniel. But he survived the lion's den. And guess who was put in the lion's den the next day? Those heads of state who went after Daniel. And the lions tore them up. God, it's not karma, folks. It's God in his providence, in his justice, in his holiness. We are in a Daniel in the lion's den, a Haman versus Mordecai situation. Well, Haman has had his day. The heads of state of Persia under Darius had their day. And now God is going to have his day. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time on the C-Files.